And as humans moved farther from the equator, something changed. The sunlight changed. Specifically, ultraviolet radiation became weaker. At first, this sounds fantastic. Less UV damage, less risk, problem solved. Except not quite. Because the same sunlight that can damage your skin also helps your body produce vitamin D. And vitamin D is incredibly important. Without enough of it, bones weaken, immune systems suffer, development becomes more difficult. You can survive with too little vitamin D, but evolution doesn't reward surviving, it rewards thriving. Suddenly, the very trait that had been incredibly useful in Africa was becoming less useful farther north. Dark skin blocked UV radiation extremely effectively. But in places with much less UV radiation to begin with, that protection came with a cost. People needed to absorb more sunlight. And over thousands upon thousands of years, natural selection began favoring individuals with lighter skin. Not overnight, not in a few generations. We're talking about an evolutionary process that unfolded over enormous stretches of time, the whitening of Europe. Here's the really surprising part. The first humans who entered Europe were probably still fairly dark-skinned. Modern Europeans didn't immediately appear the moment humans crossed into the continent. For a long time, Europe was populated by people who would likely look very different from modern Europeans. Ancient DNA has completely transformed our understanding of this. Some hunter-gatherers living in Europe thousands of years ago appear to have had dark skin paired with blue eyes, which sounds like evolution accidentally randomized a character-creator screen. But that's what the evidence suggests. The pale skin, commonly associated with Europe today, became widespread much later, as farming spread, as diets changed, as populations mixed, as different genetic mutations increased in frequency. Eventually, lighter skin became common across large parts of Europe because it helped maximize vitamin D production in regions with relatively low sunlight. Not because it was better, not because it was superior, simply because it worked better under those environmental conditions. That's evolution in a nutshell. No master plan, just adaptation. Now, here's where things get even stranger. Asia solved the same problem, differently. The Asian shortcut. Imagine two students taking the same math test. Both get the correct answer, but they use completely different methods. That's basically what happened with Europeans and East Asians. Both populations evolved lighter skin compared to their African ancestors. But many of the genetic changes responsible are different. They arrived at similar outcomes through separate evolutionary pathways, which is fascinating because it means evolution wasn't following a single blueprint. Different populations encountered similar pressures and independently developed their own solutions. The destination was similar, the road was different. And that's something evolution does all the time. Nature is surprisingly creative, sometimes almost suspiciously creative, like it's showing off. What about everyone in between? Here's where popular discussions often fall apart. People tend to imagine humans